Hello, I just wanted to share with you a few updates to the electronic health record. Here's a brief outline of some of what's been happening in the last 6 months or so. Have been inputting more data from the electronic health record our university uses called Epic. A researcher in our department started getting home blood pressure readings using an app called Twistle from our patients. So I created some analyses and ways to view that data better. I definitely squashed a bunch of bugs, made lots of little tweaks and improvements. I added more tracked problems. You'll see what that means in a few minutes. I started to add situational awareness into the snapshot window to help clinicians better understand what to focus on for any select patient. I have made note creation automated in some ways. I also will demonstrate a new progress note and why I think this might be helpful for some clinicians. Have just started to introduce or integrate generative AI into the program. We will do much more over time, but this is just a start. And then we have been playing with natural language control of the electronic health record over the last few months and trying to get that to work. It is still in the beginning phases, but I may be able to give a brief demonstration of some of what it can do. First off, let's just look at Twistle data for this patient. This is just very simple. It was input from the Twistle data we get from our patients, and this is Edwards test data. It compares blood pressures from the electronic health record versus the data we got from the patient's home. It lists the difference between those two sources of data, and it helps clinicians better understand what's really going on for this patient. Because Edwards' home blood pressures were still above 90, we got a red warning to consider making changes. We also included a graph for his home data to make it easier for clinicians to better understand what is going on. There's also a summary a screen that gets created if you would like that looks at all the patients and provides information about how the group of patients or my panel of patients are doing, tells me how many readings, etc. And then it includes under each patient some details about their specific performance from the home blood pressure readings. This is the snapshot, and for a patient who has some deficiency with one of the tracked problems, it is going to be highlighted red to help the clinician better understand at point of care what needs to be addressed. And then some of the abnormals have been put right here. This also analyzes the chart and says what tracked problems have we found that are not on the problem list, but the patient probably does have. Then we summarize the number of visits and when they occurred for this patient, any new med orders, lab orders, imaging results. You can scroll down and get a more detailed a summary of some of the deficiencies that the patient has been having that were listed above. This just helps the clinician hone in on what needs to be done for that upcoming visit or the visit when you're with the patient. We have also made it very easy to build a note based on some of these tracked problems. This right here just creates a whole SOAP note based on the tracked problems that the patient has. It includes a subjective section and then gives all the details so the clinician can better see at one snapshot what each problem may benefit from in terms of interventions. Also includes for diabetics a table that tracks some of this data over time and highlights with colored indicators of what may need to get done or addressed. Also, if the person is on the Twistle app, it also includes the Twistle app and even starts a note for the next visit. In terms of new note creation, what I have found is that many of my patients have so many problems going on at once. They're all complicated, and in a 15 to 20-minute office visit, I cannot cover all of them, but I often use my notes to track which problems I am following over time. So here's an example for just one patient visit that I did recently. And you can see uh, that the patient has so many different problems, it's really hard to keep up with everything. And if I don't include the problems in my notes, I may forget about it by the next time the patient comes in, and then problems get dropped. So this is a new type of note template or note generator. As one example, I have decided to, for this visit, include diabetes and hypothyroidism. I've already put in a history for the diabetes, included my exam and what I wanted to do. I can order labs from this right here. I can renew meds here. I can graph the details of a indicator, this one being hemoglobin A1C. And as has been shown before, I could select my diabetes medicines and annotate my graph to show what medicines were prescribed when and how the A1C has changed. I could do more of the details of it and get information such as that. So what I can do then is I click what I want to include in today's notes, and it automatically creates my subjective objective, including what I have required for this visit. And then it includes the parameters such as the prior note I showed you to help the clinician determine what may be needed. It also just identifies some of the shortcomings the patient may have for some of these other issues. You can also have low priority problems be moved up or high priority move down to low priority problems. So you can keep tracking the patient for all different problems. Um, let's see, what else do we have on our list? That was new progress note creation. Just Claude is just basically opening a window to get more details about it. Situational awareness we covered. Like I said, we're just very much beginning natural language processing of commands. The hope is to make this speech recognized in the future. Just a couple examples. We could say analyze chart. And it automatically will recognize what we're trying to do and generate a report that we've seen before. If we just wanted to focus on diabetes, we could have an analysis of diabetes and all the parameters that are followed with that. If we wanted to analyze a medicine, let's say metformin, it would pull up the information about all the metformin that has been prescribed for this patient. Let us say we want to display X-ray for knee and hip. This will generate the reports or pull the reports out from the system using natural language speech. We even can, let's say, schedule with Dr. Stockman in 2 months for diabetes. Oops, sorry, I had that in there. And then we automatically pull up, it selects the date as June 2025, which is 2 months in advance. It chooses the clinician of Dr. Stockman that says the reason for the visit would be diabetes. So again, this is just a brief update of some of the stuff we have been working on. There are many more changes, but I thought this would be good enough to let you know where things are at.